Good morning, DJ and PK here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch, filling in for this first hour. DJ and PK, PK will be along here in a little bit. DJ's off for the week, celebrating the holiday. But want to get started this morning. Big win for the Utah Mammoth last night as they raced out to a 3-0 lead on the Winnipeg Jets. Saw that whittled away to a 3-3 tie that went into overtime, and then obviously come back and get the winner just after overtime began, thanks to the captain, Clayton Keller. Well, as always, we have Adrian Denny, who is the pre-half and post-game analyst and host, breaking it all down on our Mammoth recap right now, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, the Utah Mammoth picked up a 4-3 overtime win against the Winnipeg Jets in a big Central Division showdown on Sunday night at the Delta Center. Clayton Keller scoring that overtime game winner 13 seconds into the OT. Utah got off to a great start in the contest. Michael Carcone setting the tone, drawing a trip 45 seconds into the first. An early power play for Utah. They didn't score on it, but they generated some momentum off of it as Dylan Guenther came up ice just over 5 minutes into the first, and Lawson Krause slammed it home. Utah was off and running.
Here's Dylan Guenther starting to accelerate. He twists one right, rebound loose. Krause scores! Lawson Krause hammers in the rebound, and it's 1-0.
On Friday night, when they lost 2-1 to New Jersey, they held a 1-0 lead for 21 minutes and 46 seconds and just couldn't extend it and fell by a count of 2-1. In the first period on Sunday, they would extend it. 4 minutes and 11 seconds later, J.J. Peterka, after some hard work by Captain Clayton Keller, who was able to rip a puck away from Winnipeg's Kyle Connor, forcing a turnover, and Utah made it 2-0.
Bouncing up in the air, it's gloved down by Schmaltz. Keller in the corner again. In front for Peterka, they score! Keller from the corner, it's knocked in, and Utah's up by a pair. J.J. Peterka parked in front.
Alexander Kerfoot made it 3-0 in his second game back. 3 minutes and 1 second into the second. Tic-tac-toe from Mikhail Sergachev and Sean Dursey. And Utah, who played a really good first period to get a 2-0 lead, was able to make it 3-0 in the second, making the scoreboard looking more like the game on the ice than a close 2-0 contest.
And this is Kerfoot, back for Stenlund, relayed back to Sergachev. This way, one-timer, they score! And it's the first of the year for Alexander Kerfoot. Welcome back.
Winnipeg would get one back in the second, and they'd make it 3-1. Utah had some good chances going down the stretch in the second and in the third, but Connor Hellebuyck made some big saves. Then the Mammoth, turnover in their defensive zone, just couldn't get a puck out for the first time all evening, and then in the neutral zone. And all of a sudden, Winnipeg had 2 goals in 25 seconds, and we were tied at 3 heading to overtime. In overtime, Clayton Keller from Dylan Guenther would seal it for the Mammoth.
Rally towels in the air here at the Delta Center. We are underway in overtime. Dylan Guenther gets to a loose puck, and the Mammoth start with possession. Guenther through center, a 2-on-1. Guenther, pass across. Keller scores! Merry Christmas, you filthy animal! Clayton Keller wins it in overtime!
Second multiple point game in the last 3 for the captain. Utah scored 4 of their 5 overtime game winners in the first minute. They've had 3 of the fastest 8 overtime game winners in the NHL this year. Dylan Guenther's been on the ice for all 5. Clayton Keller there scoring his second game winner of the season. 13 seconds into overtime, fastest game-winning goal in overtime this year. So the Mammoth moved back into sole possession of that second wildcard spot in the Western Conference with a big win. 18, 17, and 3, 2 points ahead of San Jose. Utah looks like they're in a pretty good position to head into the Christmas break in that wildcard spot. They'll be in Colorado Tuesday, looking to be the first Western Conference team to beat the Avs in overtime. They beat Minnesota 5-1 on Sunday night. Meanwhile, San Jose will be in Vegas on Tuesday night. Let's hear what Lawson Krause said after the game. We heard from Utah's associate captain afterwards after his 9th of the year. So he's back on pace for 20 goals in a season after he'd scored 20 or more in 3 straight before last year's 12. But he's back on that 20-goal pace this season as we expected.
I mean, bend but don't break, right? I know you guys didn't love the third, but as far as this team goes and the game as a whole, what did you think about the progression and how I guess you guys resurfaced that tie?
Yeah, we made it interesting on ourselves. yeah, obviously, I feel like Gunner has been clutching OTO all season long. Incredible pass, incredible shot by Kells. So, yeah, definitely not the way we wanted the third period to go, but credit to our group for, that's not easy. They scored 2 right away and then right into OT pretty much. So credit to the group for having the right mindset and being able to get the goal.
Your coach took that timeout. What was the sentiment or the message and emphasis going into the last part of that third period?
Yeah, I think, obviously those goals happened pretty quickly. So I think it was just to give us a little bit of time to breathe. And we believe in ourselves out there. And I think we had a couple good shifts after that, to get it to OT. And, just let Gunner and Kels take over.
When you guys are clicking the way you guys started this game, what's the biggest asset for this group?
Yeah, I think just, the way that we play in unison with each other. I think when we're playing at our best, we're getting pucks in deep and, we're taking away time and space of the opponent. And, we just got to get to that and stick to that to 60 minutes.
A lot of balanced scoring in this one. 3 lines, first 3 goals. What did you see out of this group's continuous effort?
Yeah, it's great. I think, anytime you get everyone contributing, it's a good feeling. And obviously an even better one when you see a guy like Kerf get one, after a long, start to his season. We're so happy and proud to have him back in our lineup. He fills a big hole for our group as a leader, and just super proud and happy for him.
What are some of the things you do want to see improve from that third period, though, taking away from this game?
Yeah, I just think being able to have the confidence to make that play. I think at times, we had the right, in terms of our mindset and wanting to do the right things, I think we were trying to do that, but at some point you have to make a big play. And I think when you look at our third period, it started out by us just chipping pucks out, which we thought we were doing the right thing, but ultimately you're giving them the puck back, and then they're just coming. And so just being able to make that big play to stop their momentum and go from there.
Captain Clayton Keller, again, big part of it. His team leading 10th multiple point game of the season for Utah, getting points 31 and 32 to move ahead of Nick Schmaltz for the team lead in scoring. We heard from the Utah captain after the game as well.
Clayton, Krause just made a comment about, the progression of confidence to make the big plays. Where do you see this group continuing the growth in that department?
I don't know. I think in the third there is obviously not great. Something we have to learn from. We still have to make plays, even if we're winning, whatever the score is. They're going to make a push. And, that's something that we've, talked about and tried to get better at. So I think just, learning from it. And, I think, you'd rather mess up and try to do the right thing than just be safe and, see what happens. So I think that's something that we gotta learn from and do moving forward. I
know this lineup isn't fully healthy with Cooley being absent, but getting Kerfoot back in the lineup, what does he do to this group in terms of the IQ but also the skill?
Yeah, he's such a great player. He can play anywhere in the lineup. He's a great leader. Someone that we missed when he was out. Just all the little things that he does on the bench during the game, in the locker room. I can't say enough great things about Kerf and how good of a person he is and player as well. So it's awesome to get him back, and we definitely have had more juice since he's been back.
To see Krause score as well, Paterka capitalize off of your great pass. What are you seeing out of the depth scoring and every line competing and contributing every night?
Yeah, I think all lines are playing well right now. We're getting scoring, like you said, up and down the lineup. I think something we have to continue to do moving forward if we want to be successful and we want to play in the end is your depth scoring, and it's great to see that, and we gotta keep it going.
You obviously get the OT winner, but how did you take it upon yourself to make sure you guys got the 2 points tonight?
Score in overtime.
Sleep.
What goes through your mind when you find the puck on your stick? Really nice pass from Gunther there. In overtime, 2-on-1, best goalie in the world. What goes through your mind when you're in that situation?
I think me and Gunnar actually chatted before overtime started, and he was like, let's come with a lot of speed, and I think that was something that was in my head as it came onto the ice, and he wins the draw, and he kind of just demands it right away from Sergei and makes an unbelievable play in the neutral zone. And slides it over to me, I had a lot of time and space to get the shot off, and it's good to see it going for sure.
And here's head coach Andre Cherney. After Utah had that 3-1 lead in the third, it kind of got away, but Utah got it back.
Okay. There's a little bit to unpack actually in that game. I think it was a huge game, was an important game against division rival, and found the way to win to get the 2 points. There's as well. To be honest, we had the lead in the third by 2 goals. Well, I'd love to close that game right there. I think we got a little bit nervous. We lost a little bit. We lost our composure with the puck, and like I often say, there's 2 things important when you're protecting a lead. It's having poise with the puck. Having poise with the puck doesn't mean to be slow. It's to be fast and to keep moving your feet and moving the puck, and to have a lot of pace defensively, which is our strength. And for probably 50 minutes, they had one scoring chance in the first 13 minutes of the third, because we had pace, because we were on them. And then we became a little bit too conservative, and they were able to come back. Having that said, without spending too much time on that, we need to retain it. When they tie the game, how we respond. We took the momentum back, and we went and we forecheck, and we had good opportunity or good possession in their zone, and from there they had nothing. So that was a good response. So there's a lot of teaching moment in that game. There's thing we can do better, but there's thing as well we need to build on it. We play, like I said, 53, a really good minute of hockey, and we deserve to have the lead by 2 goals. We stumble for a little while. We need to learn from it and get better and take that seriously. But at the same time, we can be proud of when adversity was there, we responded right away, and we were really strong in our finish and find a way to get the 2 points. So we had a little bit of everything today.
What were the elements that were most successful in those first 2 periods that allowed you to have 3 different lines contribute and to control pace and have quick passing?
Well, I will say 4 line contribute, because the line who did not score were absolutely elite at shutting down one of the best lines in the league. And they played a hell of a game. Well, it's not true they scored a goal as well, but I'm really proud of the way Aids, Gunner, and Crosser handled it. And, sometimes the way I match line, I'm not a hard match line guy, so sometimes it costs them a little bit of ice time. So it's a big pill to swallow for them, but they do it for the benefit of the team. And I always want to make sure the line who's playing against the top line on the other side is fresh. I don't want tired line. So sometimes, like I said, it costs them a little bit of time, ice time, but they manage it like pros, and they did a really good job. Really proud of them, no doubt about it. And to your point, I think we talk about a little bit of adjustment we wanted in the ozone, and it paid off. Boys did a good job. We score a goal in those kind of that kind of situation, but we still score a goal in the blue paint. We won a lot of battles, so there were a lot of positive against the team. We defend really well.
Kraus was talking specifically about the third period when we had this conversation, but instead of being able to chip and chase, having confidence to make the play in the third. Where do you see the progression of that when adversity happens from this group?
Well, I cannot say today was a Picasso, to be honest. We were nervous with the puck in our zone, but we were at the offensive blue line turning the puck over. So that's when we say we had teaching moment. That will be the teaching moment. I think the intention were the right one. Well, we still have to grow and to understand that and to buy in 100% that. We opened the door and they came in, and that could have hurt us big time. It's every points are important. We have one more game before Christmas, and it will be a good test. It's obviously the best team in the league. We need to manage the game the right way.
I'm sure not surprised that Kerfoot gets a goal so quickly after coming back, but obviously the IQ part of it, what does that add to this group?
There's a lot on that play I like. Like they're poised to make the play down low first, the release of Stanlon in the middle, and then after his route to go with the net, so he draw coverage, open up that seam, the quick puck movement of 98 and 50, who Sergei and Durs moved the puck really well at the right place. And the key of that was the net front presence of 38, who create the screen and the station on the goalie, and obviously the nice shot of Kerfoot. But that probably I cannot say will have not happened, but will have been a little bit less likely if they will not have that net presence. So it's really the 5 guys together. That goal will be in the playbook for a while.
So the Mammoth getting more goals from their stars, now 18-8-3 this year when Schmaltz, Gunther, or Peterka score a goal. Got a big one from Peterka in the contest on Sunday night as the Mammoth will take it. More on this contest coming up on Mammoth Daily, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, the Utah Mammoth YouTube page, Mammoth Plus and SCG Plus. Mike Folta and I will break it down. We got 2 episodes left before our Christmas vacation. We'll be with you today, and tomorrow our new episode is dropped. It's ready to go. We've got our Monday morning power play, top 5 stories of the week, and a special third period from Santa Mike. So join us for that, and join us back here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Mammoth take on the Avs on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock for Hockey Night in Utah. The puck drops at 7.
There you go, Adrian Denny. A big thank you to him, as always, for his fine work, doing everything he does, as we are the radio home of the Utah Mammoth. Coming up next, BYU Cougars back in action tonight, but coming off another victory as they handled their business on Friday night. Kevin Young, AJ Dybantsa, as well as Richie Saunders addressed the media after their win last Friday. We'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome back to DJ and PK here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch. PK will be along here in just a little bit, but Friday night, the BYU Cougars, ranked 10th in the country, their basketball program, handled their business, beating Abilene Christian 85-67, pushing their record to an impressive 11-1. They're back in action tonight as they will host Eastern Washington at the Marriott Center, but wanted to look back before we look forward, as the Cougars got another win on their home court. AJ Dybantsa, as well as Richie Saunders, both shining under the lights there in Provo. Well, they spoke to the media after the game, and AJ Dybantsa had a lot of thoughts on an absolutely epic putback dunk he had in that win over Abilene Christian. Here you go. Richie Saunders, as well as AJ Dybantsa, addressing the media.
AJ, where does that dunk in the first half stack up in some great dunks you've had in your basketball career?
That was amazing.
That's probably the best putback I've had, other than the one I had last year at Utah Prep. If y'all seen that one, it was kind of similar. But that's probably like top 7 all time.
Do you think it should be in the top 10 for SportsCenter tonight?
Yeah.
I do too.
AJ, 20 free throw attempts. Like, what were you thinking what the defense gave you, essentially, what you felt like in this performance?
That's exactly what I was doing. I feel like they were being kind of handsy and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to just, get wherever I wanted. So I just tried to take advantage of, them putting their hand in the cookie jar and trying to draw fouls.
Richie, how do you feel about the performance overall, just team-wise?
Yeah, I mean, we had to grit it out. Like, my energy was a little lower than I think it needed to be, but, every game has its own life, and just like that, we had to figure it out, and just glad we come out with a win, honestly.
What caused the low energy then coming into this one?
I don't know, but I think we responded well, though. Yeah.
AJ, one game left in non-conference. What do you feel like this team has accomplished the most?
Figuring out our identity. Obviously, we've came out slow numerous of times. I think today we came out slow, but our identity of bouncing back and fighting back and, able to respond.
Richie, what was maybe the talking points in the huddle at that under 12 mark where I think Abilene Christian got it down to 2 points and then you guys stormed back? Like, what was the points of emphasis there?
Yeah, ball toughness, primarily ball toughness. And just don't let they did a really good job of mucking everything up and making stuff they're super physical and, so ball toughness and just play our game, play fast.
AJ, today I talked about the fact this team likes to turn teams over, and you felt like it was good preparation for Houston, Iowa State, and Big 12, but do you feel like this is a good opponent to have seen?
Yeah, definitely a good test. Obviously, I'm a freshman, so I haven't seen the Big 12, but obviously coming last year to games, I've seen how physical it was, so definitely this was the game to play. I'm trying to get used to it.
AJ, what was your reaction last night to LeBron coming over to you courtside at the Delta Center? What was your reaction to that?
I met him before. I worked out with him, so I wasn't I don't really get starstruck, but, he just came over and said that he's been watching from a distance, and he's just excited to see where I am.
AJ, you had those nice back-to-back turnovers when you did the full court press in the first half. How would you rate your defensive performance tonight?
I would have gave it higher, but Tim Fanning, our defensive coach, probably would have said it's a C+, so I guess I got to go C+.
How much more do you guys appreciate Gala when he didn't play tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that his impact on the game is everywhere. I mean, really proud of the guys for stepping up, and Dean Boop or Hadim, as you guys call him, Hadim and Mihailo doing really well, stepping up. But Keba's can't replace Keba.
How do you feel like your guys' chemistry is coming along together? High expectations for you guys. Just how do you feel like the chemistry that you guys have had on the court coming along?
Yeah, I mean, we're figuring it out. It's a process, but I think it's really fun. It's fun to play with people that create such gravity, and we're learning how to use that gravity to our advantage as a team.
Same question.
Two more questions.
Yeah, same thing. Like me growing up, I didn't have a lot of people that can just attract a lot of gravity like him and Rob do. So just learn how to play with it, in practice. We're just getting used to it. We're learning on the fly, but I think it's working.
Last question. Some of your best reactions are when Richie dunks. Why is that?
Because
he's not
Richie,
a believer. He don't believe.
Because Richie don't dunk in practice. I said the same thing when Dawson, when he was playing. Like, they don't dunk in practice. So when he gets in the game,
I've never seen Dawson dunk ever though.
When he gets in the game, he drives and he acts like he's gonna lay it up, and he just goes up with two hands. I'm like, I didn't know you had that in you. But it's cool. It gets his height.
Okay. Can you confirm if Coach Young can dunk?
Sadly.
And the guy that A.J. Dybantsa just referred to as sadly being able to dunk is BYU men's basketball head coach Kevin Young. Kevin Young also addressed the media after BYU's win on Friday night. Also had some thoughts looking forward to the end of non-conference play, which wraps up tonight against Eastern Washington. There'll be a 7 o'clock tip in Provo as they take on the Eagles. Here's Kevin Young after the win on Friday.
First off, what was your reaction to AJ's dunk? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm pretty stoic over there when cool stuff happens, just because you're thinking about the next play, and I feel like I've seen a lot of plays in my life, but I did react to that one. That was insane. I can't wait to watch it on film, but what a gifted player, man. That was unbelievable.
Have you ever seen a guy get 35 points on 12 shots?
I don't want to say too much about what I really want to say about the officiating, even though we shot 40 free throws. Though that's how that team plays. They're super aggressive. They foul a lot, and they're a hard team to play against because of it. But AJ's a smart player. He understood what they were doing, and he was doing a good job of using that against them, and that was impressive.
Yeah, how unique is that for a guy to get 20 free throw attempts in a game? I mean, not anyone can just do that.
No, not anyone can do it. No, Richie got 8, so he wasn't quite up there, but I thought he started figuring out too. But again, 8, that's one of the great things about AJ is his intelligence for the game. He figured out real quick what it was going to be all night, and like I said, I thought he could have got to the foul line even more just because of I guess you can't call every foul.
He had that nice stretch in the first half on the full court press where he forced back-to-back turnovers. What do you make of his defensive performance in this game?
Yeah, I mean, he's as much as I giving them credit as they deserve a lot because they're a good defensive team. They're grimy and they turn you over, and I mean that in a complimentary way. I thought our defense was just as grimy, honestly. Now we pulled off some of the pressure because I thought they were breaking it after a certain point, but. It's tough with AJ and Moo up at the front of that thing. There's a lot of length and a lot of athleticism up there, so it's impressive.
What are your thoughts on the turnovers tonight? What do you think led to maybe some of the sloppiness offensively?
Well, they turned this. Their free throw turnover rate's the 6th best in the country, so that's what they do. And so I was disappointed because everything that we said they were going to do, they did, and we took the bait in the first 10 minutes of the game. Second 10 minutes of the game, I thought we had much better ball toughness, but it was good though. Iowa State's going to do the same thing. Houston's going to do the same thing. So our guys got to get used to playing against that type of pressure. But you have to give them all the credit. They were good tonight with that.
Can you evaluate how Kadeem played in his first career start?
He did what he did. The moment starting wasn't too big for him. He came in. He plays with a great motor. The thing I was the most proud of is his 3 blocks and Mihailo's 3 blocks. I was extremely disappointed in some of our rim protection last game. That was a point of emphasis coming into this game, so I like that specifically.
Kevin, is that just building off that? Is that something you wanted to see without Kevin in there, see what you could do on the interior defensively?
Yeah, definitely. Cade was unbelievable in there, and so when he's out, it leaves a gaping hole. And so, we talked about some different options. I thought about starting Xavier, to be honest with you, throw him in there. Ultimately, we decided to start Hadim. And I thought he responded in a pretty positive way. I mean, I think is that his second game in a row with double-digit rebounds? I think it is. So, he's doing some good things for us. And, he's just obviously a freshman. So to be able to, learn and play is, it's beneficial.
Why did you give State more minutes than if you were considering starting?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard it's hard to play three centers. It just is. And it's there's really no knock on him. I mean, he's had his moments, but I feel like Hadim is earned a bit bigger of a role. And Mihail's a guy who's battle tested for us at the 5, who you could make an argument that he also deserves more minutes. It's just it's hard to play three centers.
Evaluate yourself, Coach, over the last 2 years in that conference. I think you're 20-2 now in those games.
I think it's probably a bit more impressive this year than last in terms of that stat that you just mentioned. But their games are great because they get you ready for conference play. And I'm glad we scheduled that team because they're a hard team to play against. It's when you can kind of just walk through a game and do whatever you want. I don't think you get as much. And so that's what I told their coach after, man. You guys are, a hard team to play against, and it definitely made us better.
What had you frustrated early in the second half that led to that technical?
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not trying to, berate the officials. That's not my style. You guys see me coach enough games, but look, I mean, they put these tapes out before the season of points of emphasis, and then when those points of emphasis aren't followed in a game, especially when a team is kind of like that's what they do, it's a little bit frustrating. So I just was probably frustrated. I have a newborn, dude. I'm grouchy. So
you brought up earlier that your team kind of took the bait. What was that bait that ACU kind of led to you guys?
Yeah, sped us up without playing off two in the paint. Driving into crowds, not like begging for the ball and not back cutting. When you saw the opposite, like move, back cuts, layup. Move, drives, plays off two, swing, wide open shot. So that's where I was frustrated with the guys a little bit in the first half of the first half, but I did think they adjusted. And then look, some of the turnovers in the second half, a couple run-outs and transition, but I mean, those guys played hard and they made plays with their athleticism.
Kevin, with Alexei and Tyler kind of occupying the same role, how are you platooning them? Like, how are you going about?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had a great, super well thought out answer for you. I'm just. I'm on the fence a little bit, to be honest with it. I think they're different. They're different. Alexei provides a little bit more ball handling, where Tyler, he's a little bit bigger. He's a little bit, tougher in the sense of sticks his nose in the fight. Not that Alexei's not a tough kid, but I think Tyler's toughness rears its head a little bit more in moments. So part of it is, when Rob comes out, I do like Alexei in there with AJ, just to have another ball handler out there. And then, I don't know. It's a decent problem to have, but I'm glad that they've had these couple games to get some good minutes under their belt, and we'll just continue to, have competitive practices and see who continues to earn minutes.
Is the illness that Cabe was dealing with, is that the same thing Alexei went through as well?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I just think there's a little thing going around. Period. Like half my family has it, and hopefully he just rides the wave and he's better soon.
Last question. You mentioned conference play. I think you were on the Big 12 today podcast. You mentioned there could be a third potential season-ending injury. How do you feel like the roster is going into conference play?
I think we're getting close to having a little bit more information readily available on that topic. So I'll just kind of wait for that to get there.
That's Kevin Young, BYU men's basketball coach. Once again, Eastern Washington in town tonight, coming off the heels of getting beat by Utah on Saturday night. EWU will face off against BYU tonight at the Marriott Center. 7 o'clock tip-off. Game can be seen on ESPN+. You'll also be able to listen to it on BYU Radio as well as 102.7 KSL News Radio, obviously the radio home, legacy radio home of the BYU Cougars. But coming up next, Utah Jazz in action over the weekend as well. Post-game recap of how things went for the Jazzmen coming up next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch filling in for this first hour. PK will be along in our next segment, but the Utah Jazz in action over the weekend, and another one of those, quote, clutch losses, unquote, that DJ and PK talked about on Friday night for the Utah Jazz as they battled the Orlando Magic, ultimately falling 128-127 in overtime over the weekend. And obviously, interesting dynamic at play in this game. Desmond Bane came alive late to lead Orlando to that victory in the overtime period, but the Utah Jazz had plenty of starring roles in their own right, and that's where we're going to get right to it. Jake Scott, obviously, the pre-half and post-game host on SEG Media as well as 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. He recaps it all as the Utah Jazz fall to the Orlando Magic. Here's Jake.
It's a Jazz recap here on DJ and PK, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tough loss on Saturday night for the Jazz. Play hard, just came up a little bit short in overtime, losing to the Magic 128-127. The Jazz were led by Keontae George. Once again, 27 points, 9 assists for Keontae. Hit a big 4-point play, hit a 3, got fouled, made the foul shot to put the Jazz up 1 with 4 seconds to go, but Desmond Bane hits a runner in the lane at the last second to win it for the Magic. Let's get to the post-game sound and start things off with Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
I'm so proud of the team. That was a hell of a fight in the second half. We're playing lineups that we haven't planned for. The guys are finding ways to help each other. Their competitiveness, their togetherness is outstanding. I thought the environment in our building tonight was unbelievable. So many big plays made by so many people on our team. The biggest thing for us to learn from this game is that they scored 34 paint points in the first half and 22 in the second half and in the third and fourth quarters. And so, that was a big priority for us coming into the game. And I think we made as a team, a great adjustment with our mindset in the second half. And we just need to continue to fight for that focus to start the game. When you haven't seen a team before, we've got a lot of young players, sometimes it does take a few minutes to adjust, and that's part of the game, but we can't wait till halftime. But the way our team is playing offensively, the sharing of the ball with 34 assists again, 6 people in double figures, a lot of people played well tonight and made big plays down the stretch. Obviously, K-Love deserves a shout-out tonight. I think it's been a while since he's played 32 minutes. But his rebounding, his body position, on the glass defensively, obviously made a bunch of big shots. But, I think this is the part that I hope our fans appreciate about our group is that it is actually a team. And each night there's different people who are in the closing lineup, and I think we have a team that's easy to root for. They play so hard, they play together. I'm really proud of the group. Obviously, Bane makes a great shot there at the end in traffic, the scoop going right, and that's that's the way it goes sometimes in the NBA.
How was Isaiah able to change the game in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think we were way more deliberate with the spacing and playing in straight lines. I felt like in the first half, we were moving the ball well, but I felt like when we went to drive, we were playing too much of a hesitation game, too much snatch back, too many in and outs. We're almost doing too many moves. I thought Zay just was so decisive and powerful as the game went on, and testing their defense, drawing second defenders. Zay he's understanding more and more, what his gifts are right now in his career and how he can impact the game every night.
What did you think of Keontae's 4-point play, just his poise and patience to get that shot?
Yeah, 14 seconds left. We have one timeout, and so we're trying to go on the run. there's a world where if the coverage isn't executed perfectly, that Keontae's going to try to get on the rim and try to get a quick 2. They did a pretty good job. And, this is the part where, I'm the head coach, but I'm just like everybody else in the building in that moment. I'm just watching. And Keontae made a spectacular play. The step back, the shot fake got him in the air. Obviously the building went crazy when it went in. The poise to calm down and make the free throw afterwards, I think, is a big thing for a younger player. But yeah, I think that's one of those moments where, you see stuff in our league sometimes it's just an amazing play by a really, really talented player.
That is Jazz head coach Will Hardy. Let's move on to the players and hear from Keontae George.
It was winning time, so just wanted to trust the work at the end of the day, and the ball dropped. But all 4 quarters we got to be better on locking in on the scheme, me included. Like I always say, it starts with me. Got to be able to have energy throughout the game, and credit to Zay. He was the best player on the floor for us all night. With the pace, getting to the paint, guarding, having energy for us. So that's the Zay I know. So hats off, to Zay for him to, play the way he played. And but yeah, it was a fun game for sure.
When you have a vet like Kevin Love play like he did tonight, double-double, what was it like playing next to that and the energy he brings?
Yeah, Caleb always comes in prepared, ready to go, super professional, been in this league for a very long time, so he understands what it takes to win. We just seeing the day-to-day process that he does, and the things that he does to make sure he's ready to go. When it's time to play the 48, and he continues to, show us, the OG still got us. So, happy for K-Love. Obviously, he's been big time for me. We sit right next to each other, so we talk a lot. But K-Love played phenomenal, making shots, getting rebounds. Just doing everything that he does.
Coach said you guys made great adjustments in the second half, and now it's just more about making sure you guys all start the game like that. How do you look to take this on the road when you guys face Denver?
We just got to understand what we want to. What we want to do on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, we know how we want to play. So it's just about, we talk about anybody but when we play some of these teams, and we gotta be able to live with. If we do lose and we locked in on the scheme, we got to be able to live with that. Some guys making shots, this NBA at the end of the day. But we also have to understand, how we're not willing to lose. And, obviously we know that. And, we just continue to honestly get better. And, everything will come together, sooner or later. But, adversity is good for us. Seeing the spurts that we have where we locked in defensively, getting stops, running. We look phenomenal, so we just got to take those, those moments and expand them.
What does the crowd bring on a night like tonight?
The crowd is always loud. They're always the same each and every night. I feel like we go to all these arenas. I feel like we got the best fans in the league. They show up no matter what the situation is. They could have easily left tonight, felt like we was out the game, and we made a push, and, they super loud for us. So we feed off the energy of the fans, them getting up, them being engaged, in the game the whole time. Can't ask for more, honestly. So shout out to the fans for sure, giving us the energy, being locked in on the game. It brings life not only to the arena, but, to us as well.
That's Keontae George. Let's now hear from Kevin Love.
Everything's just going to grow. But I think defensively we've been doing a much better job in some aspects. Offensively, we continue to share the ball. Our assist numbers are, still up. I don't know what we had tonight, but it looks like 34 assists. We just continue to share the ball at a very high level, and continue to break the paint. I think that's where we get in trouble, is we just have lulls where we do not break the paint as much as we should. Other teams go on runs and we build ourselves too much of a deficit. But again, I think we're playing better basketball.
You haven't played with Keontae for a few months now, but especially seeing that type of play that he makes it in that 4-point play, what have you noticed about him?
I think just a belief in who he is, not only as a player, but as a leader and where he stands in this league. He just continues to get better. He's someone who, we look to every single night between him and Lowry, to go out there and set the tone and get the job done for us. But, he's just been so huge for us this year. And again, he's getting the respect around the league now. It's a beautiful thing to see. And he's somebody that I've seen grow even in just my couple months here. So I'm very, very happy with what he's been able to do. And, his growth, even in, just little micro moments where he might start off and, miss a few shots, and where as early in the season he was even getting down on himself, he just continues to fight and have big moments for us. And that was I wanted it so bad for him because he hit such a huge shot for us and, made the free throw, but they made a tough shot.
Your locker is right next to Keys, so what kind of conversations are you having with him as he evolves as a leader?
A lot of conversations. When we embrace right before the game, he's going out there, he talks to Will and comes, right to me. Every single time I tell him, lead us, keep being you, just keep leading us. I didn't know Keontae at all besides watching him, the past couple years. And, when he got here, he was somebody I just, instantly had a relationship with, and somebody who, like you said, I just am right next to him in the locker room, the same thing on the road most of the time. And it's just, a great back and forth that we've been able to have. And, my position on this team, I know I played well tonight, but I just want to be the vet that I never really had early in my career. And I look at somebody like him who's taken a massive leap, and I just want to be able to support him as best I can in any way.
That's Kevin Love, 16 points, 16 rebounds in 32 minutes for the old vet. But the Jazz lose by 1 in overtime to the Magic, 128-127. Next up, the Jazz will be in Denver tonight to take on the Nuggets. A game will tip off at 7 o'clock. Pregame coverage begins at 6.
Thank you once again to Jake Scott for his postgame recap. As always, tonight, the Utah Jazz back in action across over on the Front Range in Denver, Colorado, taking on the Denver Nuggets. It'll be the first of a back-to-back as the Jazz will take on Denver tonight, then be right back at home tomorrow night with the Memphis Grizzlies in the Delta Center. So back-to-back set over the next 2 days for the Utah Jazz before the Christmas holiday. And obviously, we'll have it all for you guys right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. 6 o'clock, a pregame with Jake Scott and Tim Lacombe on both of those games, as well as on Friday. You'll also see them taking on the Detroit Pistons with a back-to-back on Saturday with them down in San Antonio. So a busy week for the Utah Jazz with a couple of back-to-back sets. But coming up next, we round up all the different things that happened over the weekend in sports. We call it What is Trending. We'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.